Megan Olivi here with Frank Mir, the #1 contender to the heavyweight belt. Frank, you're here in this position because Alistair Overeem did test positive or had elevated levels of testosterone. What was your reaction when you heard those results?
I was a little shocked, to be honest with you. I wouldn't think that would be a situation would have came up, but it happens, and I immediately started focusing on what this would mean for me.
Now, I talked to your boxing coach, Jimmy Gifford, and he said that you look better than you've ever looked in a camp before. He said that you mentally are ready, but physically, he said, it's just amazing. What turned that switch for you in this camp?
You know what? I've heard before, maybe there's some truth to it, that, fighters mature with age, especially heavyweights. I think the people I've had around me I've been more consistent with. I don't have any new additions to my camp. I've been working with the same guys now for a couple of years. Ricky Lundell, Robert Drysdale, Jimmy Gifford, Sean Yarbrough. These are guys that are helping me out. A few new people helping me train. But the one thing I think it's really helped too is having Dan Hardy come in, the road work, running. Everybody knows I hate to run, but having a guy out there who's in misery with you makes it enjoyable.
Yeah, you just mentioned Ricky Lundell, and obviously you're known for your submission skills and your grappling skills. What does Ricky bring to the table for you?
He breaks it down and makes it a lot easier for me. There was never that guy that was a black belt in jiu-jitsu and a high-level Iowa wrestler. Guys are either one or the other. They were a great college wrestler that knows a few submissions, or then maybe a jiu-jitsu guy that knows a takedown or two. But in MMA, we have to be able to reference everything. It's one flow. There's no styles. It's one position really to the next. And Ricky really breaks it down very easy for me to go from one position to the next on how wrestling and jiu-jitsu all works together, to where really that's why sometimes I use the moniker he's a grappling coach. And now he's also learning stand-up to help out with the striking aspect of it too. Not so much he wants to hold pads, but so that he doesn't teach something in his area that really doesn't flow into something else in the complete game of MMA.
Yeah, so obviously surrounded by a really good camp. Do you think that Junior is going to even be able to attempt to defend your takedowns?
I think he will. I think he's been showing excellent. I think he has an 85% takedown ratio defense. So it's hard to argue with numbers. I'm a very scientific mind, and I break things down statistically. He's not easy to take down the ground. But the one thing I think I have in my favor is a lot of guys have tried to take him down, with wrestling takedowns only. But the good thing about me is I can very well easily just pull guard on him, and we'll see how well he stops that.
All right, now before we let you go, I want to get off the subject of this fight and talk to you about something I was just speaking with your wife about, Caleb. A young boy named Caleb. She said that you had a really good experience with him coming into your gym and kind of doing almost like a Make-A-Wish. Could you talk about that a little bit? Because I think this is amazing.
Yeah, no, his family works at the corrections facility here in Vegas, and I have my daughter, some of her best friends were friends with her parents, worked together. So it was, one connection away, and found out that, he was very interested in MMA. In fact, he was wrestling, doing freestyle matches the week before he was diagnosed with lymphoma. And so I saw he came in, and it really puts things in perspective to see somebody there know that you could have almost lost your child to something that you couldn't have avoided. And really, when people get into all the hype of what's important, titles, no titles, I realize, man, going home at night, kissing your child goodnight, and he wakes up that morning to go to school, there ain't no title in the world that's more important than that.
Yeah, so you feel like that kind of helps to calm you during this fight week?
It very much calms me. My children are healthy and happy. My wife and I have a great relationship that we're constantly building upon. What else matters? Everything else at that point is bonus. If I was the champ and my personal life was in ruins, I would be a miserable person. My personal life is awesome. If I'm not successful Saturday, I'm a happy-go-lucky person. I just want to have it all.
Well, we wish you the best of luck. Thank you for talking to us, Frank.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.